Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Mark again here, Weatherman Plus. Now, I'm going to give you the latest information on what is going on with Debby. Debby is actually shifting. I'll show you all the information, plus what's going on with this next tropical wave, this next storm that's coming in our direction, showing better chances now where it could either be in the Atlantic Ocean, it could be towards the East Coast, or even come underneath a trough and get pulled further to the west and be a problem towards the southeast or even the Gulf again. So I'm going to show you the latest information on that. First, thank you so much, everybody that does help and has helped so far with what's going on with Storm Debby. There's been a lot of impacts, even so far, unfortunately, reported 4 deaths, according to all the flooding that's going on in Florida. Now, if you're in Florida, I do have links in the description for Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. But if you're in Florida, if you need any kind of internet, they're going to be working on your power now. Your winds are going down where they can get to the power. They've been working on the power, but it's still going out. Now, remember, all the flooding that's going on in Georgia is going to drain down to northern Florida, so you're still going to have the problems lasting the longest. So they do have Starlink deployed in case it's needed, in case someone needs the internet. There is going to be stations that's going to be passing out food and water as well. They have 11 million waters and 3 million food meals. Florida Highway Patrol will be on 24-hour shifts. Make sure everyone stays safe and there's not going to be any kind of scams or robbery going on. And there's over 3,000 people for search and rescue members that's ready to get out there and help anyone that needs any help. Now, for Florida, if you have any special needs, there is resources for you. The phone number is 1-800-342-3557. Number is on the screen. Link is in the description below. I will show you amongst other links as well. So if you're in Florida and you have special needs and you need some assistance, go to the link in the description, click on it for Florida, and just continue with your information there, or you can call the number that I have given you. Also, this is shifting towards Georgia and South Carolina. So Georgia, there is emergency management link in there for assistance, and you can check on it and see exactly what you can get as far as what they have so far for you. And they have assistance for South Carolina residents as well. So as Tropical Storm Debby is still going to strengthen up, not only for Atlantic, it's going to strengthen up as it goes towards the northeast. So if you're in Virginia, if you're in New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, even towards the coast of New England for the northeast, you need to pay attention to what Debby is doing because things are changing. Now, South Carolina, if you need to leave for a little while, get some shelters because of the flooding, they are recommending people get to higher ground. Go to this link. There is ways for you to get some help. Now, as of right now, this morning, there is a lot of people without power outages. We even have power outages going on in Nebraska right now because of the severe weather. And we had a lot of tornadoes yesterday, and there's more tornadoes expected. So for Florida, right now, you had 113,000 without power. This is going to get better throughout the day, but you can see it is on the impact level. So if you do need assistance, make sure you call them numbers. Georgia, you are at 26,000 without power. You can see it's going right along that path. This is going to continue to grow for today. Also for South Carolina, Georgia is at 14,000 without power, and South Carolina is right behind them with 13,000. This is where it's going to pivot for today. The storm system is going to pivot right here, right off the southeast, and this is going to bring flooding and rainfall into this direction. The latest information shows that this is going to move even further, and the flooding is going to go further into North Carolina before it finally goes to northeast. But then it's going to pivot again. While it's sitting there and strengthening up, it's going to bring a lot of rainfall towards Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. It's going to just rotate for a while. So this is really going to start adding up. Latest advisory as of the 8 a.m. update for this morning is still moving northeast at 6 miles per hour. This is where it's going to pivot all the way for today, tomorrow, and then on Thursday, it's going to start moving through South Carolina all the way through Friday. It's not going back to the west. Matter of fact, it's showing that it is going to do that wobble. So it's going to go back a little bit, but when it does, it's going to go on that northwest and not that westward track. Then it's going to go out through the northeast. And when it does that pivot a little bit to the northwest, this is where it's going to hit North Carolina, Virginia, and more with heavier rainfall before it goes out through the northeast. And you can see it's going from a tropical storm. It's going to go down to a depression, but then it's going to strengthen up on the way out again to a tropical storm. And you can see this according to all of the model guidance, including the GFS, that this is turning to the northwest, and then it's going to go out through the northeast. It's not going to go back to the west and do this big long duration event of a stall. Matter of fact, the rainfall amounts from here on has shifted further to the north. Now, the latest information according to the Euro, you can see right here that it is bringing it all the way down below 990 into the 980 millibars. This is going to be a pretty strong tropical storm. Then as it goes towards the northeast, it's going to weaken back down, but then strengthen back out as it leaves. Now you can see the latest information according to the hurricane analysis forecast systems. Remember, these are only available as we get a system, showing it will strengthen as it goes in towards the Carolinas, and then it's going to move eventually to the west, northwest. Now the whole time, you see how it's pivot a little bit further towards the northeast. So instead of the rainfall coming into this direction, it's going to be moving to where your rainfall is going to be going into that direction. So it did move a little bit further, and you see it does go to the northwest and then goes out through the northeast. It's not going back by Mississippi. It's not going into the Gulf. You can see with the hurricane analysis forecast system B as well, showing it will go into the Atlantic. It will strengthen back up again. And once again, you can see that pivot is bringing it all on the eastern side, a little bit northern in South Carolina and into North Carolina as well. And you can see how it just stalls still a little bit, still a couple of days. But by the third day, it is moving away. Now, the latest on your storm surge, still got 1 to 3 feet right here in this blue for Georgia, but it is going to grow 2 to 4 feet all the way across South Carolina, all the way towards Cape Fear, North Carolina, and it's going to be 1 to 3 feet over here as well, all the way to Surf City. This could grow a little bit. I'm seeing the pivot a little bit further up the coast. Also showing the latest information on HRRR on our impacts from this storm, that once it pivots as you go through Wednesday, this is where the winds are going to start coming on shore, and it's going to start bringing those 60s and above miles per hour wind gusts. And this is going to grow. This is only the next 48 hours. This is going to be about 72 hours when it starts making its move away. So you are going to start building up on some winds. Now, I don't use a NAM often because it always changes, and it's not as accurate as HRRR. You can see the difference just in the next 48 hours, but it is confirmed that it will eventually bring somewheres along North Carolina, Virginia, and further. You will start picking up on the winds for y'all as well. Rainfall rates have increased as well, so you can see right here with HRRR. For today, you are going to get some storms coming across the southwest. You still got those storms in the eastern Pacific. Remember, all that convection that's shifting to the east, all them storms over there. You're going to get that precipitation going around this high pressure and bringing more storms, chance for flooding over here for Arizona. You got some coming across the upper Midwest through the north central as you get that trough coming through, and the storms come through Wisconsin, Michigan. Been storms all night. It's still raining. Outside, it's been raining all night here in Wisconsin, and going all the way through Pennsylvania and Northeast. And this is going to pick up. This is only the next 48 hours. And look how much heavier it's getting already just in the next 48 hours. Already showing levels of 7 through 10 inches. 10 inches is going towards that white. You start going towards 8 foot and more once you go towards that purple. Now look how everything has shifted a little bit further northern and South Carolina and going into North Carolina as well. And you can see over here for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Long Island, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Boston. It's starting to get a little bit more heavier precipitation for y'all. Now this is going to grow. This is only the next 48 hours. You can see the latest rainfall amounts just for the next 5 days with National Hurricane Center. You can see that big shift to the north. So additional accumulation that you're going to get. All this light green is 1 to 2 inches. All this dark green is 2 to 4 inches. And I'm showing this could shift further west into Pennsylvania. So y'all need to pay attention as well. But you see all this yellow. All this yellow is going 4 to 6 inches, including up here for the northeast. This is going to get heavier, and it quickly goes from an 8 to 12 to this darker right here. This 8 to 12 and this dark orange for South Carolina. North Carolina has shifted towards Raleigh now, and you have this big additional from 1 foot to 16 inches in all this red, and that dark red is still 16 inches plus towards 20 inches. But you see how everything has shifted a little further to the north. This is going to get heavier also for the northeast, showing chances for 6 to 8 inches for eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey and New York, and some of Connecticut. So for today, you do have the marginal for flash flooding over here across Montana, a little bit of the upper Midwest. You're getting that slight risk going over through Arizona as you're getting that precipitation of those storms going all the way across the four corners. But look over here for the southeast. You still got that high risk going all the way from Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina. This is going to shift. And you have the slight risk and a moderate level risk for flash flooding. This is for today for the northeast. As we go through tomorrow, this is going to shift further to the north. So now you have the slight risk, the moderate level risk, and that high level risk going into North Carolina. Still got the slight risk for South New Jersey. Now, as you go into Thursday, look how it grows with that shift, shifting more towards South Carolina, North Carolina, into Virginia with all this flooding. As you go through Friday, it's going to go across the whole northeast. And as you go through Saturday, it's still going to be there for New England. And look right here with the latest with the Euro. So as we get these storms that come through for today, and those storm cells I did show you yesterday, there is tornado warned for today. So they did pick up on those storm systems. I will go through that with you. As it goes into the Atlantic, look at this. Now it starts changing its pivot, and all the precipitation is going from the Atlantic over towards North Carolina. It will go towards Virginia. Now, it is going on a wraparound and still bringing some back towards South Carolina, but location is changing just a little bit because it's not staying super long. After 48 hours, it's going to start shifting to that northwest. This is going to stop bringing so much rainfall on the coast of South Carolina, and instead of onshore winds, you're going to start getting offshore winds, and it's going to start pulling it away from you, which could turn into a good thing for you. But at the same time, you can see that onshore flooding is going to grow for North Carolina, Virginia, and it's going to go further to the northeast. And on the latest run with the Euro, look how much further to the west the system goes before it gets caught up into this trough. Instead of pushing out right along the coast, it goes inland even more. And this brings heavier amounts of rainfall further to the west because of that location. Then we got our next tropical system coming through as we go towards 8 and 9 days away. So it's still days away. I will keep you updated, but showing that we will get a trough that could potentially either block. And this is literally at 9, almost 10 days, literally the last of it. So what this could do is this could either block it and push this out through the Atlantic. This could pass by and pull this into the west as well. So it's still hard to say where that is going to go. I'll show you the latest information. You can start seeing a little bit of a curve at the last minute. But showing because of that westward push now you bring a lot heavier precipitation going all the way western into Pennsylvania, western into Virginia, also getting into West Virginia. But look how it's covering now. Now it's covering the intercoastal northeast all the way to the coast. A lot of heavy rainfall. Now, this is only for the next 6 days. After that, we got to deal with this tropical moisture that's going to be coming through as well. And we still don't know exactly where that's going yet. I will show you the latest information. But you can see it's going to start adding up to a lot. This is only the next 5 days. A lot of heavy rainfall coming in this direction. All that brown is going towards 6 to 8 inches. Plus what's adding up for South Carolina, look how it's going further onshore because it's shifting further to the northwest. It's not going west, it's going to the northwest. So that would bring impacts further inland. Plus, if you take another look, if you look at the update, go all the way back to 90 hours. This is the 0Z run. When you go by the 6Z, it takes it further inland and even heavier within those 90 hours. This is shifting further to the north and further to the west, which changes the impacts from North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, all the way through the northeast. And not only that, it is going to bring up all these strong heat indices starting tomorrow. So for Wednesday, it's going to start bringing up this 100 to this 105, pulling up as you go through Thursday. It's going to be there, and it's going to stay strong all along the south central towards the southeast, and it's going to move up the coast as this system moves up the coast. As you go through Friday, you can see that starting to happen, bring all these hot heat indices. You still got them for the southwest. You've had them for a very long time. and going towards the Carolinas now. And as you go through, Saturday is going to be there and start pulling further up the coast. This is going to be there for about a week. So definitely hydrate and get ready for those temperatures coming. Remember, that is your heat indices. And remember, all the temperatures that you see from your information, from everything you get, all the temperature is taken in the shade. Now, yesterday we had 21 tornado reports. We even had one report in Colorado of freezing rain. But you can see from here, you had multiple tornado reports going on in Minnesota. Also some damage. That's what the yellow is. That there was damage on those. And we had them for South Carolina. Look at this. As it's going from Georgia into South Carolina, bringing the chances for tornadoes. You got that same threat for today. And those cells that I showed you going through Ohio and Pennsylvania yesterday, they are tornado warned from National Weather Service now. So for today, you do have chances for winds, even chances for damage and winds. You have 5% and 15% for the upper Midwest, the Northeast, and for the Four Corners. So far, here's your cities and states at risk for that. You also have chances for hail today from that trough going through Montana and for those storm cells going through the Northeast also. So here's your cities and states at risk for the chance for the hail threat for today and your tornado threat. You do have the 2% for the Carolinas, but it is growing for those storm cells that I showed you yesterday all the way up to a 5% for today. So here's your cities and states at risk for the chance for a tornado for today. And the latest evolution has pushed us a little bit further towards the east. So you see, as you get in these storms brewing up for today, even bringing chances for tornadoes, as you get in these bandings coming on shore for today, and you can see that for South Carolina, also going into North Carolina. But these cells over here moving through Pennsylvania, it has changed, moving further towards the east. So you see how it starts dropping in from northeastern Ohio from 4 p.m., but it really sparks up as it goes through Pennsylvania all evening long, 6 and 7 o'clock, going all the way through Long Island, through Connecticut, even some of Rhode Island. Let's see how that builds up as you go through 10 and 11 o'clock. Then it turns into a damage and wind event potentially after that and pushes offshore. But until then, you got some strong cells pushing through Pennsylvania, mostly northern and eastern. Now, the latest from National Hurricane Center, besides Debby, they still have this little disturbance that's moving so fast, it's unbelievable. To the west, there is some model guidance that shows that there could be a last-minute eruption like this to just spread out and start strengthening up just a little bit. You might get a weak tropical wave. That is trending less and less, showing it will go right over towards the Bay of Campeche into the eastern Pacific, not showing big impacts for everyone else neither, just bringing some moisture with it. I'm showing we're still going to grow an area of concern into this direction as we get that next tropical wave. You can see the latest on a chance for a tropical depression as you go 4 and 5 days. Then more likely that tropical wave will persist to the west and not go into the Gulf. As you go 6 and 7 days, you can see that even that 10% that was up here is gone. But after that, then we got a chance for this to grow right towards the Eastern Caribbean, right in that region. And as we go towards 9 and 10 days, this is where it gets a little iffy. Is it going to go further to the west, or is it going to get hit by that trough and turn in 10 days and then move in 11, 12 days away? Showing so far on the latest update that it will do a late turn at the last second because of this trough. But just being 10 days away from this shot, I can guarantee you things will change. Matter of fact, when you go by the ensembles, look at this with the Euro. This is in 10 days. You have a lot of grouping right here over the Atlantic, and we have a few over here showing it can get into the Caribbean and also go to the west as we go past 10 days. Now, it could either go into the Gulf, it could either go around this high pressure to be in the Atlantic, or it could keep going to the west right there, potentially pushing towards the coast. So you can see the trend in 10 days, and this is literally right at 10 days with the Euro. In 10 days with GFS, you can see almost the exact same thing. Now, one thing that's showing true, they're both favoring more likely we'll get development over in this region rather than the Gulf of Mexico, but they're both showing that. And look how it goes to the west. Either go in the Gulf, it can either go around the high pressure, or go right towards the coast. That's that next tropical wave. different areas. But we're already getting tornado warnings on some of these cells. This right here is going through North Carolina. We're already getting flood reports of roads being closed already. So this is already building up. Now remember, this is going to pivot. This is going to hit South Carolina pretty hard, but this is going to pivot into North Carolina. North Carolina, please pay attention. Please get ready for all this flooding. Also for Virginia and everyone else further north. This is going to pivot, and this is going to bring a lot of heavy rainfall towards y'all as well. The winds are going to come across, not be as strong. You see how it is going to eventually weaken down towards a tropical depression. Also getting tornado warned cells over here for Florida. So remember, it's not just going to be for South Carolina. This is all going to revolve around, and it's going to pull into this direction, the precipitation, and that's why you're seeing these chances for tornadoes to pop up. So you're not in a tornado warned area for today, but Florida, you know how you get all the time. Thank you for your time, everybody. I hope y'all do truly have a great day and you have the best case scenario coming out of the system. I will update you again for tomorrow morning. The system is slow moving. I don't know what afternoon updates will do as far as help you, but if it will help you in some way and you do want to see one, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll just see you in the morning. Now, before I go today, 1 Corinthians 18 through 24. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved it is the power of God. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? For after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God. It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified, unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. But unto them which are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ, the power of God, and the wisdom of God. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. I wish the best for every single one of y'all. Make sure you go out there and check on your neighbors, check on their pets, make sure everyone is okay. And please spread this information to others that do need it. There's a lot of people out there that does have some special needs, and they're not getting any help, and they really need some information on how they can get some food, get some water, get maybe evacuated to a shelter for a few days, just help in general. Thank you so much for everybody's help. And remember, this is pivoting. This is shifting further to the north. So North Carolina, Virginia, keep your eyes open on this. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a very great day today. And remember, above all things, all glory goes to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope He keeps you safe every single day of your life, and your family and your friends, even your enemies. Because remember, you help an enemy, he will become your friend, or she will become your friend. It's just people having bad days. It's unbelievable what kindness can do to a person in distress. So help as much as you can today. Thank you again. And remember, all glory goes to God forever and ever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Ever and ever. Have a great day, everybody.